of the chicken stock that you already have ready there. A little drop of that. Just a drop of that. I'm going to blend a little bit of the stock with a little bit of garlic here and throw that as well. Just the same stock and just garlic, a little bit of the cilantro stuck in there. Saute that as well again. Now we're going to throw some raisins. Plenty of raisins in there. Some green olives. Fresh cilantro. Lots of fresh cilantro there. And now some tomatoes. And we'll throw some cloves of garlic. I'm going to do some whole peppercorns as well. Throw a few of them in there that I have here. Here we go. And let it just simmer a little bit. Now, you can peel a little bit of that. I sort of like the fact that it turns into, and blackens like that, and that we can use it as such. Just move it like that a little bit. Gonna open the chili. As such. Now all my plates come out with lots of greens. Do I wait? Throw some cilantro. This wonderful chicken that we've been cooking. And put it inside your pepper. Such. Ya no. Try to put it all inside there as we can. We put lots of the broth over that. Make sure you have your olives. And everything there. Now you can throw some more of your raisins on the side there.
At taping time, the executive chef at the Weston Canal Place in New Orleans was Christian Gilles. He's a Frenchman with all of the requisite skills that a culinary career in that country implies. He says that eating is one of the great measures of a culture and people. Here is his orange chocolate mousse.
So now what we'd like to prepare in front of you is the chocolate orange mousse. And it's absolutely delicious, and it's a little bit different than the regular chocolate mousse or what we can find mostly everywhere. And to begin in that, I have of course a mixer here, so I make an addition of whipping cream here, and I would like to beat that until the cream is very firm. So probably we have to make some noise. Take off, and you can see it's very firm.
3 egg yolks are then beaten.
Make sure to try to keep clean your egg white, because you have to use them after that to fold in your melted chocolate. So all the time try to keep your egg white very clean. So you have to beat your eggs until they're coming like a lemon color. That's mean more or less lemon pal. To that I add the orange zest and the vanilla extract. And I keep turning that at least for 10 more minutes. Then, of course, by question of timing, I melted already my chocolate, and I fold that in my chocolate. So what I have to do, I'm going back to my double boiler here and finish to mix that with my chocolate.
Meanwhile, the 3 egg whites are beaten to the stiff peak stage.
And I would like to show you exactly what kind of consistence of the egg white. So having a nice and light chocolate mousse. So I bring my cream here and my egg white and fold usually before we do that, we need to set on the side in a refrigerator at least for 4 hours before we fold down in the glasses. So what we did is we prep another one here and we set on the side here and we decorate with a mint. And that chocolate mousse stay at least for 4 hours before we put in champagne glasses or another dish you want to serve that and use that to make sure it's very firm.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
The menu starts with Robert McGrath at Scottsdale, Arizona. He offers a skillet gratin with crawfish tails, vegetables, and the surprising addition of foie gras. For the main course, Peter DeYoung in Beaufort, South Carolina offers salmon 2 ways, as a Napoleon seared with honey and rosemary, and as tartare. The finale is from J.J. Stith in Las Vegas. She presents her rendition of banana cake, flavored with milk chocolate custard and served with hazelnut chocolate sorbet. The Roaring Fork is a popular spot in Scottsdale. It is also a river that runs through Aspen, Colorado. The restaurant touts the great Western cuisine of Robert McGrath. He helped open it in 1997 after getting much attention at the Scottsdale Phoenician Resort. Here is his crawfish skillet gratin.
We start with some bacon, pearl onions, green beans, shallots, mushrooms, red bell pepper, and garlic. I think the bacon, the fat cooking out of the bacon, we're not a health food restaurant, by the way, in case you all haven't picked up on that yet. But the flavor of the bacon, the pork fat, to me really works well with shellfish. Whether it's crawfish or lobster or shrimp, I like that association very much. We're going to add some green beans, some pearl onions, and we're going to get this mixed up a little bit. That went right in the garbage can for you TV viewers at home. We would never throw any food on the floor here.
The beans and onions were pre-cooked.
I'm going to add some mushrooms, get those started. And some chopped shallots. And some red bell pepper. Now the red bell pepper has been roasted, peeled, cleaned out of seeds, and then cut into sort of a coarse shape. We try to get our cuts here looking as natural as possible. We're not into very highly manicured foods. We're more concerned with the quality of the ingredients that we're using and with the overall flavor of the dish.
The last ingredient was chopped garlic.
After we've added those ingredients and let those saute for just a little bit, we're going to add some crawfish tails. Excuse me. Now you can use rock shrimp to substitute for the crawfish if you're not in a part of the country where you have access to these. To me, the crawfish, the meat's very firm and sweet. Again, it works well with the bacon. And we're going to let those warm up just a little bit. We're going to get this burner hot because we're going to be topping this off with a little piece of magic here in a second. We're going to add white wine. We're going to let that reduce quickly. And we're going to add a little bit of cream. I suggest that before you add the entire amount of the cream in the recipe, that you let this reduce first a little bit. And then we're going to add a little adobo sauce. Now, you don't need much of this. You can get a lot of mileage out of a small amount of this. And this is available pretty much around the country anymore. You should be able to find this adobo sauce in most Mexican food sections of just about any restaurant, not even a specialty restaurant. If you have trouble finding just the adobo sauce, you can always find the chipotle chilies in adobo sauce, and then just use your spoon to collect the sauce out of that. We're going to add a little kosher salt and a little fresh cracked black pepper. We're going to pull that over here and just continue to reduce that. And I'm going to get this skillet hot real quick. Now, one of the things that we like doing at this restaurant is what we call cutting flavors. We like the flavors to be highly contrasting. So they need to be compatible. They need to be flavors that will work together, but that cut through each other, so that heightens the sensation of each of the flavors. We are not into doing the homogeneous flavors and everything's so subtle that the nuances are barely perceivable. We want the flavors to be robust. We want them to slash through each other. And so this is why we add something like the chipotle or the adobo sauce into the crawfish, and why we're going to top it with some Hudson Valley foie gras. This has become something of a very recognizable ingredient in a short time. Michael Ganor has really enabled this product to get into the mainstream. Now you want this skillet just to get hot enough where you're just about smoking, but I don't want to put it on this right now on the heat. I want to pull it off the heat a little bit and let it sear off the heat. And I'm going to take this crawfish gratin that we've done, and we're going to put it into a small skillet. You want to keep an eye on the foie gras behind you. You do not want to let it overcook or burn, because it will just reduce itself into fat. So I'm going to top this with a little bit of the sauce we have in here. We're going to sprinkle some breadcrumbs on top. Now you can do this in a bowl as well. It does not need to be done in a skillet. And then we're going to take this piece of foie gras and just add it right on top. And from there you would put it in your broiler at home. And we're going to let that brown up nicely. We're going to take that, we're going to serve it on a plate with a folded napkin to keep the skillet from sliding around. And we're going to garnish it with some small sprigs of chervil. Now this dish can be done in a variety of ways. Obviously, the way we're doing it is simply a suggestion. If you don't prefer to have cream in your recipe, omit the cream. If you don't care to have the adobo sauce in there, omit the adobo sauce. The idea here is we're trying to give you a dish that has the potential to be moved around according to your particular taste, but you need the crawfish, you need the onions, you need the foie gras, and what we have here is a skillet gratin of crawfish, green beans, and foie gras.
The Beaufort Inn in the quiet South Carolina town of the same name featured the food of Peter DeYoung. He calls it New Southern Cuisine, and he's offered it to some pretty big stars, Sharon Stone and Entourage, who showed up late, and Robert Duvall, who served his party. Here's salmon Napoleon and tartare. The chef begins with puff pastry. He'll cut scallop discs, which will become layers of the Napoleon, and a sawtooth-edged crown garnish. The crown is shaped in a small ramekin. It will be filled with dried beans before baking. Holes are poked into the disc to inhibit too much rising. Egg wash is brushed on and all are baked at 375 degrees for about 20 minutes. Now the salmon is cut.
Going to need some slices of salmon about 1 inch thick.
The salmon rounds are part of the Napoleon, while the scraps will be used for the tartare.
With the pieces of salmon, we're going to make a little salmon tartare.
Most of the standard ingredients that garnish tartare are included here, but they're all mixed together in the food processor, including onion, capers, Dijon mustard, and egg yolk. You don't want to go too fine. Now we're seasoning the salmon with fresh rosemary. The salmon is sautéed in butter.
And you want to cook this medium rare.
Honey tops one surface of the disc. Sautéed zucchini is a side dish. It's cooked in hot garlic-infused oil. Balsamic vinegar is added. A little caviar garnishes the tartare. J.J. Stith graduated from the California Culinary Academy in San Francisco, then worked in several Bay Area restaurants, including One Market. Now at Aqua Restaurant in the fabulous Bellagio Hotel, she offers her creative desserts to that exclusive clientele. Here's a chocolate banana cake. The banana bread is begun by creaming butter with the paddle attachment.
And then dump in the brown sugar and the white sugar. Now I'm going to be adding the eggs with a little vanilla, with the vanilla extract in them. Slowly whip it up some. And I add the bananas all at once.
The riper the bananas, the better. Now that the bananas are smashed, add in the flour, baking soda, and salt. The flour's been sifted with the baking soda. And since I'm making this in a small mix, I usually mix it a little bit before I put it back on, so you don't have a flour storm or dust storm. The batter goes into a buttered loaf pan and is baked at 350 degrees for an hour. The milk chocolate custard begins with hot, heavy cream with the meat of a scraped vanilla bean added.
Thanks, Jen. And I whisk the hot cream into the milk chocolate slowly, so it's not to break it. Boy.
After the mixture is incorporated, it's set aside to cool before egg yolks are added.
Slowly whisk the custard into the, slowly whisk the chocolate mixture into the egg yolks. I'm tempering is what I'm doing, so I don't break the eggs or overcook the eggs.
The custard is strained, then will be combined with a portion of the cooled banana cake.
After it's cooled, I took about half of that and I ground it fine, like breadcrumbs, I guess. You need about 8 ramekins or tin balls, which these are stainless steel tin balls lined with, you spray them and line them with paper. And it's going to get baked in a little hotel pan or a little baking dish. To this, we're going to add some really finely chopped milk chocolate of good quality. And you add enough custard just to make a smooth paste. For about that half loaf of banana bread, it's about a cup, maybe 2 cups of liquid. And you fill the molds.
The molds are cooked in a water bath for an hour in a 300-degree oven. Rotate the pan halfway through.
Design on the plate with just regular piping chocolate. Mint sauce. Don't show that side. This is chocolate and caramel mixed together and piped into a lattice shape.
Finally, chocolate hazelnut sorbet.
Finished presentation, milk chocolate banana cake with gianduja sorbet.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
Jimmy Ishii in Memphis, Tennessee offers 2 starters. First, a soft crab spring roll with miso dressing, then salmon sashimi marinated in soy sauce, sake, and vinegar. Then from Minneapolis, Pierre Gardin presents sautéed Atlantic salmon with braised curry-flavored fennel and a blanched tomato cup holding steamed broccoli. Dessert is from New Orleans. Shane Goringe sates all chocolate nuts with his Napoleon of chocolate mint candy, canals of chocolate mousse on a pool of reduced creme de menthe. One of the notable features at Jimmy Ishii's Seksushi of Japan in Memphis is a private dining room featuring an 8-course menu of Japanese specialties. The first course is salad, followed by, in Japanese, sukuri. We offer the 2 as an appetizer, crab soft spring roll and salmon sashimi. The spring roll is started by hydrating rice paper and water.
This is rice spring roll skins. Soak in the water for a while. And this is a red miso dressing. Just wait till it gets soft.
The ingredients that go into the roll include avocado slices, whole chives, cucumber spears, and snow crab leg.
Avocado, chives, cucumber. This is snow crab.
A spoon of the red miso paste goes into the bottom. The second course features a marinated and briefly blanched piece of salmon, the hot Japanese horseradish wasabi, and mixed greens. Tetsuya Masako will assist.
Okay, this is a fresh salmon put in a boiled water and cooked a little bit. The inside is like a medium rare. And we marinate it with yuzu sauce, which is lemon, Japanese lemon. And marinated with soy sauce and sake and vinaigrette. And we make sashimi. We cut sashimi for this. Okay. じゃあこっち側向いて。
Egg custard and fried rice flowers are garnish. Some of the marinade is mixed with the wasabi for the sauce. Dijon was home to Pierre Gardin. After cooking school, he worked in several French restaurants, then came to the States in 1983. He worked in Chicago at Tango and Escargot before joining the Sofitel Hotel. From that property in Minneapolis, Here is sautéed salmon in red wine butter sauce.
So we're going to start by the fennel. Need to remove the core.
Fennel and onion are served as a side dish.
Slice it thin. Onion. So in a pan we take a bit of butter. A bit of olive oil. The fennel, the onions, a bit of garlic, a bit of curry powder. Cook it until tender. Good. Okay, for the sauce, we reduce, put this aside, and we'll reduce some red wine with some shallots. And reduce it until you have a syrupy mixture, almost like a thick, almost. Okay. Okay. Now while the wine is reducing, start the salmon. So it's to heat up a frying pan with some oil. Season the salmon on both on the side. So you put the salmon skin down first. And leave it like this until the skin is crispy. Okay. Yeah, for the vegetable, take some broccoli and just steam it.
You know, it's real quick, just to mark it a bit. And then you put it in an oven, about 375. Just take a tomato. And we scoop it out.
The tomato cup will hold the broccoli and is also briefly steamed.
Tomato, we'll put it in a steamer for just a minute.
The wine reduction is getting close. Whole butter will be added to finish.
To season a bit the broccoli, I'll put it in a whole butter and salt and pepper. And just coat it with butter. Hold on, Greg. And to season it, to place it, just put it inside a tomato cup. Okay. We're going to finish the sauce. Now the red wine is reduced. So you want to add the butter? Butter is added a little bit at a time on low heat. Okay, go ahead. Shake it.
The butter is swirled into the wine a piece at a time. Shane Garringe's busy Zoe's Specialty Bakery is on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. A native of England, he's cooked all over the world and in New Orleans at Windsor Court Hotel. His own place now allows him full freedom. He developed this recipe for great chefs and calls it Chocolate Mint Napoleon.
Okay, this is Chocolate Mint Napoleon. We have on the stove right now, we have sugar and water coming to a boil. It's got to come to right below softball, which is about 112 degrees centigrade. So around about there. Powdered sugar. Mint extract. Bring that together, and it's going to turn into hard pieces of candy. Careful not to put your face over this pan because the fumes from the mint is going to get right in your eyes. And when that all comes together, it's onto to cool. Some bits are going to stick together. It's going to be large chunks, but we can just chop those up later. When the sugar cools down, and the mint, we're going to make little chunks of it. Just want to pieces like that, irregular.
Melted chocolate goes onto parchment paper.
Then on 1/2 of the chocolate, we're going to sprinkle the mint candy. Then we're going to fold over and just press. I'm going to place a sheet pan and allow that to set.
The chocolate mousse used in presentation is made with 7 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, 4 ounces of softened butter, 4 egg yolks, 1/2 cup of chocolate liqueur, 1/2 pint of heavy cream whipped, and 3 ounces of sugar.
Okay, to layer up the Napoleon, the prepared sheets, we peel off, and then you just break pieces. And you want to be able to, where it's like this is good because you see the mint inside. It's not just straight chocolate. Just break off irregular pieces. I'm going to take a chocolate mousse. And then just take the pieces, start setting them. Around. Then we're going to leave that to set up for a little bit and prep the plate. So we take a plate. This is a creme de menthe reduction. Show it's all together. And then a little bit of candy.
Welcome to Great Chefs, a culinary tour of the United States, featuring some of the country's finest chefs.
Donna Norden does the first course in Tucson, Arizona. Deep-fried shrimp flautas stuffed with a shrimp, cilantro, onion, and chili mixture with tomatillo sauce. Then from Las Vegas, Alex Strata cooks marinated roasted spring lamb presented with baby vegetable fricassee along with sautéed sweetbreads and lamb jus. For dessert, Thaddeus Dubois on the Gulf Shore presents an upscale fruit shortcake. No strawberries. He uses peaches and raspberries macerated in sugar and peach liqueur. Donna Norden's Cafe Terracotta in Tucson opened in 1986 and was an instant hit. 6 years later, a second Terracotta opened in Scottsdale. It was named one of Esquire magazine's best new restaurants of 1993. Donna Norden's ardent interest in Southwestern cookery is evident with shrimp flautas. The filling is started with processing shrimp, cilantro, green onions, and chipotle puree.
And we'll grind that. And we'll grind this. We'll be adding our little bit of chipotle. You can add that right down through the hopper. The equivalent of 2 chipotles will be a couple of teaspoons. A little bit of salt while we're mixing in more of a dry form. This is just pureed so that you will have a smooth texture in part of this flauta, and then we'll have some of the chunky texture along with it. So it gives you a whole range of flavors and textures. Okay, an egg. Okay.
Not all of the shrimp was processed. Some was held back and roughly chopped.
You can transfer this to a bowl if you like, or we'll just add it right into the processor without having to transfer it. Give it a stir with a spoon, and then the mixture's ready for filling the tortillas. Watch out for the hole there. And then we have our flour tortillas, which was spread out. You can spread out a few at a time. And scoop the mixture in near the bottom. If you do a few at a time, it's saves you a little time rather than doing one at a time. This is a little bit of an egg wash that has a tiny bit of flour in it, and we're using this as glue, kind of the old-fashioned kids glue. And put some along the top.